Today's video is sponsored by Storyblocks. Go to the link in the description or go to storyblocks.com/Daniel Schiffer to learn more. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've uploaded a video because I've been working on a whole bunch of stuff, but while working on a whole bunch of stuff, I've actually come to a realization that I put painstaking amounts of effort and hours into doing things in my videos that people will never even notice. This has happened throughout this channel many times. I've uploaded many videos that have gone viral, and there are things in those videos that I put so much effort and time into that nobody even realized. This week, we're gonna be talking about some of those things and why it is the little things that people don't notice that actually make your videos stand out. So let's talk about it. Now, most of you are probably subscribed to this channel because you saw a video in the past where you thought the editing style was cool, maybe it was an effect or a transition that you liked and you wanted to learn. But the truth is that all of those flashy stylistic things are completely useless without attention to detail and being meticulous in other areas. Now, as an example, it does not matter how well you can edit a cereal box explosion or a flying can shot if your lighting is bad. That's why I go out of my way to learn how to use all these different modifiers and stuff, because these kinds of things actually make a difference. Now, you might remember last year I made a Speck cream cheese commercial, and the shot that got the most attention was the bagel popping out of the toaster and then the toaster disappearing. But I don't think a single person asked about the previous shot where I turned the dial on the toaster, and why would anyone ask about that? It's a remarkably basic shot with really not much to it. Wrong. Now, as I demonstrated in the behind the scenes for that video, I'm turning the dial on the toaster as Sarah takes this little aperture light and moves it across. That makes the shot a bit more dynamic, and that is little detail number one. But if you look carefully at the raw footage, you'll notice that the display, the numbers on the toaster are very faint. You can barely see them at all. However, in our final shot, there's the same display clearly lit up and noticeably visible. Now, here's a quick demonstration of how I did that, which I did not show in that original behind the scenes. All right, so I've got my camera set up and the toaster is in the center of the frame. It's currently turned off, it's not even plugged in. And what I'm gonna do is hit record, turn on our little aperture light. I'm gonna turn the dial as I bring the light around, like so. I'll do it a couple times. And now for the next shot, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my light. By turning off the key light, this is gonna make sure we're not getting any glare on the display. And I'm gonna plug in the toaster. And now, without moving the camera at all from our previous position, I'm just gonna adjust the exposure settings so we can see the numbers on the display more clearly. So I'll turn down my shutter speed a little bit, open my aperture, and now I'm gonna use this black piece of foam core to block out any extra glare and reflections. And if we switch camera views right now, you can see what this does when I move it in front. And now I'm just gonna simply go ahead and turn the dial. And that should be pretty good. Now on the computer, I'll take our second shot and bring it on top of the original shot, mask out the numbers, followed by some color grading to bring in more saturation and contrast. And if you have a look at the two shots we started with compared to what we have now, you can see that it does in fact make the shot way better. Now, I understand that this might not seem worth it because it is a small detail, it took some extra time and effort, and if we're being honest, nobody even noticed it. But in my opinion, had I not gone through with that and done this extra work, it would make the whole video overall a lot worse. Another example of this was in my Socialite Bold commercial. I took the extra time to mask out all the little dust particles floating around in the fish tank, and right there is yet another detail that nobody knew about, but if it wasn't there, it would make the video worse. In the past, I've shown you how I go as far as fixing the horizon in certain shots and rotating clips to ensure that they are level and balanced. I've also shown you how adding diffusion can help to eliminate hotspots on a product. There truly is no shortage of small details that can make a big difference. Now, just last week, I was working on a hair product commercial and I wanted to get a shot of a water droplet hitting water and creating a ripple in slow motion. Now, despite my best efforts, my camera simply does not have a frame rate high enough to capture that droplet slow enough to get the look I was going for. So instead of scrapping this idea and just giving up on the shot entirely, I went onto Storyblocks and found this perfect stock footage of a droplet hitting water. For those of you who don't know yet, Storyblocks is an online subscription service, and with a membership plan, you can get unlimited downloads of high quality stock footage, motion backgrounds, After Effects templates, and overlays. A lot of you already know that I love the overlays and I talk about them all the time, but for this particular client shoot, I needed a shot, I couldn't get it, but Storyblocks had the stock footage, and this saved the entire video because the premise of that video was all about capturing texture. If you or somebody you know are ever in need of stock footage or other assets, then go to the link down in the description below or go to storyblocks.com/Daniel Schiffer to learn more about Storyblocks. Now, the thing about these little details we're talking about is that sometimes they can can be quick and simple little fixes like adjusting a wrinkle in the raw pizza dough, but then other times it can be as complex or tedious as painstakingly synchronizing and matching skateboard tricks to the beat of a song. So that was from a lifestyle ad that I shot for a beer brand, and the craziest thing about that entire sequence is that none of the audio you're hearing of the skateboard doing the tricks is actually from the video clip itself. That is all recorded and added in after. It just goes to show that this involves a whole other level of time and effort and complexity to get things looking the way you want it to. And while some people did notice and actually pointed out that the tricks were lined up with the music, and I'm appreciative of that, most people and the average viewer would never notice these things. This begs the question, would that video, that skateboarding sequence, would it have done as well if the tricks were not lined up to the music and I just wallpapered a song underneath the tricks? I don't think so. The moral of the story is sometimes we all just need to take a step back from those fancy effects and transitions and focus on the smaller, finer details that people won't even notice, because in reality, those are the things that will make our videos better. But that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it or found it helpful. If you did, then make sure you hit it with a like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Daniel.Schiffer, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.